face's hair drapes the horizon to where is my lucky star tonight? Seventh sister of the Pleiades walks in beauty like the night. Oh, that is best, dark and now lost to me. Only trust in the northern star. That's the only point that's fixed. I once believed in love. Even love cannot bridge this rift. Where is my lucky star tonight?
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. Good evening or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. And now, here's Gary.
And here I am with Joe Taylor, and we have James Krischbaum out there. Hey, Joe, you know, you said that they have that horrible smell and you down your neck. I don't know. Have you ran into any big, huge lizards that would kind of like scared you, by the way?
No, I've seen a few mountain boomers, which are just these turquoise-looking lizards, but nothing like that. You know, I'm willing, but I'm not going to lie and make something up. I just haven't come across anything like that. A lot of dead cows and stuff. You know?
Well, my friend James, who's our co-host on the show here tonight, I noticed he put something up, flying humanoids observed in Austin, Texas. Have you heard anything about that?
Not the one in Austin. In fact, I'm sitting here looking right now at the one this girl over in Dickens, Texas, east of here a ways, drew. She's even got a big drawing of the eye, and I've got her story. I know her story pretty well. But I hadn't heard of one in Houston area. Where is it?
Yeah, James, do you know anything about that? You could tell us or anything?
Yeah, that was in Austin, Texas.
Yeah,
and it was about a month and a half, 2 months ago when that report came in, but it really hasn't hit the airwaves till within the last week or so. But it was a flying humanoid, and it was pretty good size too. It was what's it say here, 10-foot wingspan. And it was 10 foot away from the roof when they seen it, so it pretty much startled them because they pretty much looked out the where they seen it was right in front of them, and it had a big wingspan. So they got a really good up front look at it, you know. So I don't think they might have mistaken it for something else, but who knows?
Was it a human face or a weird face? Would they describe the face at all?
I'm kind of looking through that. I don't think it really describes the face because I think it was kind of more dark. Yeah, it was like, notice dark silhouette literally about 10 feet from the top of the house. Yeah, it was kind of too dark to get any details of the face, unfortunately.
Did they see it flying or sitting somewhere? Or what was it doing?
Let's see. This one on top of the house, it was a story. I guess it flew right by. Yeah. It flew right by. It was a flying humanoid, flew right by him. and it kind of glided. Actually said it kind of glided by. So that would be pretty startling to see something like that. I mean, outside of your house.
Yeah. Well, that sounds more like Mothman. Something that's got that kind of wingspan. That's a big creature.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I would say. It falls in that category. Also, but I have to agree with you on that one. Another.
Go ahead, James.
I was going to say there was another report, and this wasn't too long ago either. Maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, in West Texas, of somebody seeing pretty much what you would describe as maybe a downsize or a baby, more or less, Tyrannosaurus Rex or a reptoid or what do you call a raptor, something like that. Have you heard anything about that sighting?
Yeah, I just read a report here just 2 days ago about that. It looked like there were 5 different people that had seen it. One report was there were 2 of them running across a road, and they said, hey, everybody said, well, it's like a T-Rex. Because everybody knows what a T-Rex looks like. So if you saw something like that, that's not hard to identify. But the reports I read, they seem to be pretty straightforward. They saw what can only be a small T-Rex. Do you know any more about it than that?
No, I don't. That's pretty much the same reports I was getting. Matter of fact, there may be a footprint somewhere. I seen it had a big 3-toed footprint, and I think they were trying to figure out, what would make this footprint. And it looks like one of them dinosaur footprints you see in a riverbed in a rock. Really, only a smaller version. Not a full grown T-Rex, but the same principle, only a downsize. It kind of makes sense because we've talked about before. This day and age, the oxygen content isn't like it was a million years ago, so they're probably not going to be as big as they were then. But I do know that West Texas is a lot of open desert out there.
Well, that's right. And down in out there in ranch country, south of Crosbyton here, 50 or 100 miles, man, there's vast areas out there. There is nobody out there, a few oil wells and a few cattle. But there could be all kinds of stuff in those old canyons and caves. Some of the mesquite thickets, where the mesquite or oak have grown up. Heck, you could have a herd of elephants in there, would never know it. So, but that's interesting, though, that's the first time I have ever heard of any T-Rex-like creature here in Texas, really, or anywhere for that matter, not at least here in the United States. So if there's one, there's got to be 2. If there's 2, there's got to be more. What in the world's going on? Where are these things? Where have they been? Did they just come here? Where were they? Why are we just not hearing about them?
Right. I often wondered, you kind of touched on it earlier, maybe these things hibernate. And who's to say, maybe they hibernate for many years. Maybe something woke them up in a cave. It's plausible. Who knows? I don't know. I do know there's been a lot of reports of those T-Rex type smaller ones in Australia, out in the outback in the desert, which is, if you think about it, is pretty similar to West Texas.
Yeah, it is. I was there a couple of years ago, and you feel pretty home. Although they have different trees, the trees are real tall. There's some of them. What do they call it? Gum tree. Said you just about can't saw the thing up. They're so hard. They're just bring them over here and make telephone poles out of them. But yeah, that area over there, man, that's a huge area, and nobody really knows what's in there. I think that's why Yowie isn't been caught. They're just so big an area, and those things can get away from everybody. But I'm not sure there isn't parts of Texas down there where someone found it as a ranch 120 years ago, and then the family, they sold it off, or it's got oil wells on it, so they just let the oil wells go, and they don't run any cattle in there anymore. So 5-10 years goes by, and all kinds of wild creatures are going to get in there and feel comfortable. The weeds, the trees are going to grow. You probably have more water, more insects, and all that sort of stuff. So the neglect of the land, or not ranching the land, would seem to me to be that'd be an invitation to a lot of animals you wouldn't have seen before, maybe.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. You know, there was another report there in your neighboring state, Louisiana, down in Baton Rouge, where like an upright hyena of all things was seen. Have you heard anything about those?
Upright hyena. Good.
Yeah.
Is that Dogman? Is that the same thing as Dogman, maybe?
They'd kind of fall into that category. More you think about it. But there's been a couple reports of those down through there like that.
The two drawings I've seen of Dogman, one of them, he's got long arms. He's got a dog head, kind of a roached back. He's built kind of like a dog. He's got long hands and long claws, long tail. And the other one, it's more like a muscle man with shoulder-length hair and a very vicious dog face with a humanoid figure. I mean, it could all be just, some artist making stuff up. But one of the reports I heard about Dogman was that it run a while and go on all fours and on hind legs and on all fours. But why would that be? And man, I don't know.
That sounds like
this. Have y'all heard the story? This guy was out in the woods and he I guess he was close to a Bigfoot. And all of a sudden, the Bigfoot jumped back in the woods. And here comes Dogman tearing through. And he says, well, I guess Bigfoot's scared of that thing.
Wow. Yeah, that 2 to 4, that's what Gary saw, kind of.
Yeah, I did see 2 to 4. That's what it ran. Hey, Joe, I sent you back on your email a picture that was taken over the weekend of a Thunderbird. And I believe it was in Tennessee. The two people were driving in their car. It made national news. And, when you get a chance, you might want to open up and take a look at it.
Okay, I'm opening it right now. This was in where?
Amazing.
I think Tennessee.
Yeah, I think it was.
How long did they get to view it? It's now loading on my computer here.
Well, just like most people, you're in your car and all of a sudden you see the thing and they manage to get a picture of it. But I mean, you're on a freeway, so I don't assume that they saw it very long. But most people would be in shock if they saw something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they wouldn't think to get the camera out. And I wonder if they had a dash cam going.
It kind of looks like a dash cam photo to me, James. If you remember and think about it, to me it does look like a dash cam.
It you know what? That's a good. I thought about that when I seen it because think about the time you get your camera out and get it set, that thing's already gone by. So I was kind of thinking that when I first seen it. I wonder if that was a dash cam.
Well, it doesn't look like the top of a tree or a telephone pole. I mean, it looks like the thing's head. It looks like it's flying toward you with the head turned over its right wing, unless I'm looking at it wrong. But that's kind of what it looks like to me. I'm going to blow it up a little bit here. There was a trucker. Did I tell you about that trucker here in Dallas? It's a fellow that has a creation museum, Kent Hovind, and a lot of people know him. And he calls me up one day and says, "Hey, Joe, this guy just saw a pterodactyl down in Dallas." And he told me all about the story. He said this guy's a trucker. He's driving I-30, I guess going east. They're probably along the east side of Dallas. And this was in the warm months. He was just he was really excited. He called Kent. He said, "I just saw this thing for about 10 seconds flying across from one side of the viewing plane to the other." He was probably doing 50 or 60 miles an hour. So this thing must have been a couple thousand feet in front of him. But he said it was a big pterodactyl flying, and he saw it about 8 or 10 seconds. So, and then there's the big bird, the big crow-like looking thing with an eagle head, which the Indians talk about these things flying in front of thunderstorms. And I've seen that before out here in the canyon, the big old vultures. If a storm comes up in the summertime in August, comes out of the north, looks green and black, and you know it's going to be hail or dust or rain or something.